So here we have this Mercedes CLA 45S. We do this on a weekly basis, normally just the exterior, but today we're doing a full kind of maintenance on a monthly car care plan with the interior as well. Now when we do this, we're looking to basically get the vehicle back to our deep clean standard. Now with the weather at the moment and being in the countryside as it is, there's a lot of dirt on the bottom half of the car. This is the dirtiest this car's ever been, to be honest, because I was away on holiday last week, so it never got done. So what we're doing here is filling up 3 buckets. We've got 2 soapy buckets, 1 wheel bucket, and the other 2 buckets are for the bodywork itself. We're going to apply some Spritz Cirex Aggressive Citrus Infused Pre-Wash, 500ml. So we're just going to put that in the snow foam, and this is concentrate as well, so just whack that in like so. We'll always put it into about the 300ml mark like that, and then whack that back on. Take this with the actual snow foam lance, and then we're going to fill this up just with water to obviously dilute the concentrate of pre-wash, and we'll just fill that all the way at the top like so. Stick that in the bucket out the way. Next, what we're going to do, we're just going to let the pre-wash dwell on the vehicle, obviously while we crack on and do other things. This is just to pull all this dirt to the bottom of the vehicle, all this crumbs. If we were to just wash that straight now, that's going to cause a lot of damage to the paintwork, whether that be swirl marks and things like that. So what we're going to do is actually pre-wash the full vehicle, and just let that sit and dwell for a bit while obviously we crack on and get everything ready. Now you want to get this absolutely everywhere. Obviously we've got the full snow foam cannon to kind of use on this. If you don't kind of use it all, it will just get put on the floor and wasted. So you may as well just use the whole thing, let it do its job, and obviously pull all that contamination to the bottom of the paintwork. Get it right in the arses as well. Now it is a little bit windy today, so we probably will get covered in snow foam a little bit. Right, as you can see, all that snow foam's now getting pulled to the bottom of the vehicle, pulling all the dirt off. So all we're going to do is let that dwell at the bottom for about a couple of minutes, rinse it all off thoroughly, get all the dirt off the thick of it, and then we'll do the wheels, which we'll put some fallout remover on. Like I say, the whole purpose of pre-washing the vehicle like so is so it just pulls all the contamination to the bottom of the paintwork, so it is a lot safer for the paintwork, so you're not leaving any swirl marks or scratches in the actual paintwork itself. Now this spare stuff we don't need anymore, so find a drain and just basically bin it. Now while we're waiting for that to be done, I'm just going to start filling this up with Ultramousse. So to do the Ultramousse, literally 2 cupfuls of Ultramousse concentrate like so, and then the rest I'm going to fill up with water. Now, like I said before in previous videos, every time you are doing stuff, you want to just be making yourself as time efficient as possible. Always just not sat around doing nothing, I should say. Always doing stuff to basically make you quicker as a detailer and onto the next job and more efficient, really. So that is now prepared, ready, and we'll just stick that back up there for now, nice and neat. So also we need some mitts for this bucket, which I shall get out of my drawer. Here it is. Nice fresh mitt, like I say, always carry spares. If you ever drop these on the floor as well, change it straight away, so that is not a problem. Now that's the wheel bucket, that's the mitt bucket. What we do now is rinse all this pre-wash off, like I say, a nice thorough rinse of the full vehicle to basically get all the contamination off before we obviously safe wash it. Now when we do this, you always want to start from the roof, obviously using gravity to your advantage. You want to get in all the cracks and crevices here to pull out any dirt or contamination that may be in kind of all the windows and things like that. And then I just move on to the sides, make sure I get right in these window seals, pulling everything out. like so. Just pull it all out like so. And then just using gravity to your advantage really, you just pull everything at the bottom of the floor. Now with the wheels, what I like to do is just get the whole wheel done first, then get right into the arch. Now people always forget the arches, but we're just going to be getting right in below, getting all that dirt out, all that contamination from the actual arch itself. Always be making sure to have your petrol caps open as well when you're doing this. Reason being is because a lot of fuel gets stuck in there, any dirt, things like that. That obviously always gets missed as well. Right in the arches, like so. We just want to spend the time on this part, really getting this back to a good clean standard. Right, next I'm going to come on at the back, which is normally the dirtiest part of the vehicle, by the way. Because we're flicking all the dirt up, especially this time of year. Now I always do the exterior first, that is the full process. The reason being is because if the sills and door jambs of the vehicles are quite dirty, then what I do when I'm going around the pre-wash stage is I actually get in here and just jet wash them out. It's the quickest way. Obviously if you get the interior a little bit wet, that's not a problem because we still need to do the interior, whereas if you were to do the interior first then do this, you're obviously going to have to go back over your work again, which isn't ideal. And I hate doing things twice, to be honest, so probably just do it once, do it properly. Right, you want to be pulling all the suds out, all these crevices and cracks. All these grills hold a lot of dirt as well, so you always want to be making sure to pull all that out. Get any inspecting the vehicle at this point as well, if there's any insects, splatters, things like that aren't going to come off with the pre-wash stage. Because we might have to put some different chemicals on there to obviously remove them. Any leaves within the grill, so as you can see here, there's a leaf that hasn't come out, so you just pull it out, put it on the floor. Same thing again, opening these up, doing the door jabs and sills. It's the quickest way to clean them all. And also we need to remember to do the boot, which is normally the dirtiest, to be honest, which in this case it's not. So what you can also do is take the end of this off, have low pressure, and just literally run a bit of water in. 9 times out of 10, if it's not that bad, it will pull all the contamination out from within. There we are. Right, so now that's all done, we're going to do all the wheels because they are the dirtiest part of the vehicle. We always do them first because you don't ever want to cross-contaminate anything onto the bodywork of the paint, because you don't want to, obviously you're not safe wash the vehicle. So what we're going to do is I always like to froth this, and then I also do this one as well. So what we're going to be using for this is Ferron by Spritz Car Cleaning. So Ferron itself is, so what we're going to be using is Ferron. So what we're going to be using is Ferron by Spritz Car Cleaning. It is a powerful paste neutral iron fallout remover. Can be used on all the wheels and the bodywork. So what we're looking to use this for is to remove any brake dust, essentially. That's kind of went up the car from obviously the braking of the vehicle. So we're just going to spray this on here and get this all over. As you can see, it's starting to react with the actual brake rotors itself. And it does bleed red when it reacts with kind of brake dust and obviously iron deposits. So you can see it's doing its job. So we're just going to let this dwell on here. I normally just do all 4 of these in the actual chemical, and then obviously we'll go around with the snow foam and just do 2 wheels at a time really. The only reason I do 2 wheels at a time is because if you do snow foam all 4 of them at once, by the time you get around to the other side of the vehicle, all the snow foam's not going to be there anymore, so it's not really doing its job properly. Give this a nice, generous, and make sure you get right in the barrels as well. It just makes your life a lot easier instead of scrubbing away for ages, and it gives a better finish to the vehicle as well. So what we're going to do on the last wheel here, and as you can see straight away it's already bleeding, you know it's doing its job. Very good product this. Right, so as you can see we barely used anything there as well. It was only up to about there, so it'll last a long time as well. You don't need to dilute this or anything as well. It is just neat. Right, so we're going to snow foam the wheels now. Obviously you've got a barrel brush and a wheel mitt in there. I'm going to take this end off. Always just put the end in your pocket, nice and easy to get to. Here we go. So I'm going to spray the wheels and the arches, and as you can see how much that is bleeding. It's all running down there as well. I don't know if you can see that on the camera, but it's definitely doing its job. As you can see there. So we're just going to give a nice generous amount of snow foam on here. And then we'll just leave this on the floor. Make sure not to kick that or anything as well, because that is the main cause of the snow foam cannons not working and breaking fairly quick. Always look after them. So first thing we're going to do, take a nice barrel brush and do the barrels. Want to get right in there. The reason we use snow foam is to obviously make sure that's nice and lubricated, so we're not putting any scratches and swirl marks in the actual wheels themselves. But as you can see, the dirt coming off this. Just want to really be getting in there. Once the barrels are actually done themselves, we'll then get our wheel mitt and we'll do in the spokes like so. Get that all out. And then once we've done all the spokes, we'll then do around the edge, the actual faces of the spokes, and then the centre cap, and then we'll get right in behind the spokes and every single one, just really pulling out any dirt. As you can see, all the dirt that's coming off there, it's quite immense. And then lastly we'll get the caliper as well, because a lot of people miss the calipers. Obviously when they're painted calipers like this, it looks a lot better when they're clean. So same again with this one, barrel brush in first, pull everything out, get behind all them spokes, get right in the barrels. You can see that Ferron really doing its work, really bleeding red. There's a lot of iron deposits on these cars, especially performance vehicles, obviously going high speeds, a lot of braking. And it's our job to basically remove all of that and get it back to factory standard. Right, so do all the faces of the spokes, then the centre cap, and right behind the spokes as well. And then we'll get this caliper as well the best we can. Then we'll rinse all this off. Ooh. There we are. Always spray it this way to test it and make sure it's not going to fling off into the car. And then we'll rinse all the suds off. Right, so now all the wheels are done. We're just going to move on to the body. All I'm doing here is just damping the surface, since we took quite a while to do the wheels there because they were quite dirty. And then all we're going to do is snow foam the full body and obviously safe wash the vehicle. Now what I mean by safe wash is the back's normally always dirty than the front, so we work from the top to the windows at here. All the bonnets, do the front first, work our way back. Every single time we do a couple of panels, we're always just changing the mitt and obviously cleaning it so it doesn't pull any dirt around of the actual vehicle and scratch the car. So we just want to snow foam the full vehicle again, including the wheels. I know we just rinsed them off, but we'll just do them again, like so. getting everywhere. Right, so we've got a nice thick layer of snow foam on there. We're just going to put this back now because we're done with it. Swap that over to give that a test. Right, so like I mentioned before, we want to safe wash the vehicle, so a lovely nice clean mitt. Always start on the roof, and we just always work in straight lines. Reason being, if any grit were to get pulled across, then obviously it would be in a straight line, so it would be a lot harder to see. Now obviously there's two sides to this mitt as well, so if it does ever get dirty, we've done a couple of panels like we just have there. We've done the roof and obviously back at the tailgate there, and then we'll just do this windscreen. Then what we'll do now is flip it over to the other clean side and just work in straight lines, like so. So it's imperative to safe wash every single vehicle that you clean, because a lot of the customers get them paint corrected and ceramic coating, so they've left us immaculate. So if you're now to maintain it and you're the only person to maintain it as a company and yourself, then if you put any swirl marks in the car, they're obviously going to know where it's come from, which means that we're going to have to redo the work for free, which isn't ideal. So it's imperative to really take the time to actually safe wash the vehicles. So all I've done there is to the bottom of this door, or the window seal, sorry, all this has been done. Just need to do that front bit there, and then I'll do this side so it's all equal. Always working in straight lines, and do the wing mirrors as well. That's what I like to do. And then from there, you just want to get in a clearer bucket of water, rinse this out. Any dirt and contamination will obviously now be rinsed out into this bucket, and then we go back in the soapy bucket, and we'll start doing the full front of the vehicle. Now around the barges and things, you've got to take a lot of care, especially in these, because you come off quite easily. And once that's done, all the way down, we'll flip it over, do the full front end of the vehicle. Now the reason we start kind of front to back is because the front's a lot less dirty than the back usually, so it will obviously not put any contamination around. And obviously with the pre-wash stage beforehand, that's obviously pulled a lot of the big contaminants off, so we can now just clean it without the risk of damaging the vehicle. Right, so now that we've used both sides of this by doing that wing and the front bumper, we're just going to rinse it off again, bring it out, back in the soapy, and then we'll do the two sides. So, hose working down. Now that's dirty, we'll flip it over, do this door, work in straight lines again, all the way at the sill, and get at the bottom of the sill underneath it. As you can see, that is now really dirty, so if it gets really dirty like that, we'll grab the jet wash, put it on our hand, and just rinse it off like so, get it all nice and clean again, and then wring that out like that. As you can see, all the dirt coming out. Then you go back in the clear bucket, rinse it out again, back in the soapy bucket, and start the whole process again. Right, so once we've done one side, obviously continue the other side. We've already done the swing, so we're just going to clean this side like so. Never do the back before the sides, because that, like I said before, it is the dirtiest part. Like, look at that, that's dirty. So we need to rinse this off, otherwise we're just going to drag the contamination around the vehicle and scratch it. And look at all that dirt coming off of that. Really wring that out. Then back in the clear bucket. And then back in the soapy. And then look at the last quarter of this side. And then here again, rinse it off. Always remember a spare mitt as well. If you ever drop this on the floor, never ever use it in a car. Right. Just got the back to do now, which we should be able to get done with one mitt here. So, I'm going to start from the top to bottom. Just really break everything up into sections in your head. And there we are. Now we're going to work our way down. In like cars like this where they've got a lot of splitters on the back, you've got to spend the time getting to all the contours, all the curves and whatever else of the body. Yeah, so that's now got dirt in, off going all the way down to the bottom. So we're just going to have to rinse it off. Right, now that's all the car actually washed with a contact wash with the mitt. We're just going to rinse all of this suds off, and then from there we're going to put some protection on. The stuff that we're going to use, Touche by Spritz again, gives about 6 weeks of paint protection and makes the paint really hydrophobic. And we use it as a rinse aid as well to make it a lot easier to clean and obviously dry off. Right, so as you can see now, this panel, for instance, spray water on, it's very flat. It's not very hydrophobic. So what we're going to do is, obviously the last part of the step, more of a rinse aid and obviously enhance the gloss levels and give it some protection as well. And we're going to use Touche by Spritz. So this is a high gloss quick detailer and finishing spray. Can be used as a rinse aid as well. So my point being, So when we come to spray this on the panel, as you can see, very flat looking. I'll just spray some water on again. Yeah, it's not doing anything. So we come to spray this on, like what it's going to do is make it very, very hydrophobic. So just let that sit for a couple of seconds, and then we shall spray that off again. And as you can see, the hydrophobicness of the door is now repelling water. It's now had a lovely rich gloss to the vehicle that will obviously last a few weeks before the next time that we come actually clean the car itself. So we're just going to go around the full vehicle now, obviously just spraying this all on. You can spray it absolutely everywhere. Like I say, it is a rinse aid as well, so it makes it a lot easier to dry the vehicle, and obviously adds a lovely wet and glossy look to the car that will last around about 6 weeks, to be honest, so, and give it some protection. Getting the wheels as well makes it so much easier to dry, so you're not messing around for ages. And then once you spray this on the full car, you don't have to let it dwell or anything, you can just rinse it off straight away. And like I say, this can be used as a quick detailer, it can be used as a trim dressing for the interior. It's a very multifunctional kind of product that can be used for more than one thing really. So yeah, Touche by Spritz, 6-part, or the 6th step in the process. We've very much created it to be a very easy, so anyone can kind of do it. You don't have to have much experience in how to apply it and things like that. So just wanting to make it as simple as possible really. So we're just going to rinse this off, and you'll see everything repelling the water off the vehicle now. And we also just want to use this time to basically get the last bit of the suds out of all the crevices. Make sure that we've actually got all the soap out, so when it comes to drying it makes it a lot easier, and we're not going to leave kind of chemical marks on the paintwork once we're done. So here we go. Right, so that is now us done on that front. The car is now clean and washed, so as you can see the bottom there is full of suds, so this is what we're going to be watching for. We're going to get underneath there, pull all them out, and as you can see there's a leaf that's still in there. So you just want to always be checking your work, because that's what makes a difference basically. So what we're going to do now is get ourselves a nice microfiber drying towel, which we have here, nice and clean, and we're just going to dry the car off, and then we'll air compress all the crevices. And yeah, like I said, the Touche before makes it a lot easier to dry the vehicle, adds a lovely shine to the car, which I will show you in a second. Now when you're drying the vehicle as well, you just want to be making sure that the towel never touches the floor, because this full car is now clean. You can kind of do it any way you want, to be honest, but if anything were to land on the vehicle and it gets trapped in between the actual towel and the paintwork, it will obviously cause damage. So it's just to be cautious that you are obviously not putting any damage into the vehicle as always. Yeah, so like I was mentioning before, it's normally when you're doing the bottom of these doors where there is obviously risk of the towel touching the floor. So what I like to do is hold it with one hand here, and with the other hand just drying off the bottom of the doors. And then always be cautious around the badges as always, that you're not pulling them off or getting anything trapped behind them. Just show that for now. Caught myself there. So Now, once all that's done, we'll just stick that towel up there for now because we're going to need it again. But at this point, what I like to do is get myself some microfiber cloths. And at this point, I like drying out the sills. Now, the reason I don't use that drying towel is because there may still be a bit of dirt in the sills that still needs cleaned off. So if you use that, and then there's some other bits on the car that you need to rinse off or dry off, obviously there is potential to scratch the paintwork. So what I'm going to do is just go around this, just drying everything off. Some nice microfibers, just so the full exterior of the vehicle is now clean and protected. Now make sure always to get the bottom of these doors as well, don't be lazy. Right, and then just let that drip down while we do this side. Right, then the last little bit of the puzzle is just the back here. Always obviously start from the top down, using gravity to your favour. Otherwise everything's just going to drip on your work. You want to get your fingers right in these crevices, pull everything out water wise, and just dry it all around. Right, now next thing we're going to do is we are actually going to get the air compressor out the van, and we're going to start blowing out all these kind of badges, all the fronts of the grills, all the wheels and things like that, just to really finish off the job. If you don't do this stage, what's going to happen is water is going to drip out all the crevices, especially stuff like this, and you're going to leave watermarks all over the car, and it's going to look terrible once obviously the work's complete. So just spend the time, do a proper job. That's what people pay for at the end of the day. Right, there we are. So we're just going to go around the air compressor now, just really pull up all the water from the badges and the grills and everything like this. Now you really want to spend the time on the wheels doing this as well. Reason being it just dries them off lovely, it makes them look great, and obviously back to a showroom condition. That's another thing you can do with these as well. Not all cars, but you can just pull them the other way, get right on the canvases. And at this point as well, I forgot to mention, this is where I'll be checking the car over, making sure that we've got all the dirt out of the wheels, the barrels, everything like that. If there isn't anything, or if there is any dirt left over, that's where we'll then be cleaning this right now, obviously to really get it back to a good standard, so it just finishes the car off. Hi mate,
Right.
how are you doing? Alright mate?
You're food into the transit.
Need a few more hours I think. Right, finally we're just going to use Spritz Neo Intense Black Tyre and Trim Dressing. This is just for the wheels and actual tyres themselves. Right, so there we have it, ladies and gentlemen. This Mercedes CLA 45S. We do this on a weekly basis, just the exterior, but this time we came to do our kind of deep clean package, which is all part of our monthly car care plan. Every time we visit the vehicle, we are looking to get it back to that deep clean standard on the interior and the exterior. So any tar and brake dust, anything like that will be decontaminated from the exterior of the paintwork. It is fully ceramic coat and safe, all paste neutral and obviously safe washed for the vehicle. As you can see, it's absolutely stunning now. Everything's back to a showroom standard. We decontaminated the exterior as mentioned before, detailed all the wheels and put a lovely 6-week paint sealant on the vehicle as well. As for the inside, it is now fully detailed, ready for the handover to the customer. It smells absolutely gorgeous in here, to be honest. And yeah, everything's been detailed, all the lines put in the carpets, and back to a showroom appearance, which is obviously what the customer desires every time we visit. If you do want to get this done to your vehicle, just give us a DM or just comment quote on this post, and someone will be in contact with you as soon as possible to obviously discuss a few options and how to get booked in and get your vehicle obviously maintained all year round and looking as good as this.